Hello, and welcome to this taste challenge. This is for an upcoming date. Check my schedule book. Oh yeah, okay. All right, got the date. So we did a taste challenge at dawn. Got another one planned for Sunday, but honestly, these are going to be like you hate to say things to avoid because you're trying to. I got a channel and telling people not to watch, but honestly, these are pretty basic. So it's sort of like drab versus a whole bunch of other drab products. The point here is that nice handle bottle, embossed. The point here is that this one is about $32 a bottle. So it's Dewar's white label. It's distilled, blended, and then aged under a royal warrant for the royal family of England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, the United Kingdom. But it's very simplistic. It's not bad. There's no off aromas or flavors. It's not nasty, is what I mean. But it doesn't stand out. It's just like humdrum and drab, which I found fascinating that the guy up the street, when he was living there, well, they still come to visit often, but he was saying, oh, that's my favorite. I've more or less, he said, got locked into Dewar's white label, and then he progressed to the 12-year. Oh, it's so great. And I was like, okay, I'm open-minded. I mean, I never had tried the products. So I'll try them. And he was saying, oh, isn't it great? And I said, well, you can go back and watch the Duo review. You'll see what I'm saying. And I said that in the solo. I said, well, it's kind of it's kind of a cereal grain, like a lot of cereal grains, which is what it is. Predominantly corn, grits distilled into a clear, odorless, colorless grain whiskey. In the United States called grain spirits, but there are some single malts blended in, because if you look at Dewar's, the company, they own like 5 distilleries in Scotland. Most of them are single malt distilleries like Aberfelty and Altmore and some other ones, and they I have to look at that. And they do a lot of single malts. So originally the single malt whiskey was invariably blended in with grain whiskeys to make famous blended Scotch whiskeys. Dewar's, Ballantine, Johnny Walker. What are the other big ones? J&B, Cuddy Sark, all those the big blended. So, but then around 1984, I think it was around 84, really, nearly 40 years ago, some companies decided that, well, Scotch whiskey wasn't super popular like it had. I mean, it was still popular, but I mean in a relative sense. So they were saying, well, let's put out some single malts on their own, just the malt whiskey under a brand name, and see how it goes. And then it sort of started a cult following, and now it's like a big deal. But before 1984, they always made single malt brands. Let's not get this wrong. They always made single malt brands, but they were not well known. They were not particularly well distributed. And so they were sort of like an outlier. Kind of like craft beer, all malt craft beer. They're just kind of a oddball thing. But now they're like the big deal, right? So I did make a little bit of a mistake. I should have done the single malt first and then the blended, because like I do straight bourbon first, then I do the blended, then I do that. But I got it mixed up. So after I do this, I'll do the single malts in the next coming weeks. the Glenrothes 1995 18-year aged against the other single malts I have, which is a small little stash at this point. It'll grow, God willing. And then that'll be the pattern. Single malt, then blended. Straight bourbon, then blended, and that. All right. So what is the best-selling type of Scotch whiskey in the world today? It's blended Scotch, blended. Number one, of course, Johnny Walker. I mean, there's no, whether you hate Johnny Walker or love it or don't care about it, it's irrelevant. Johnny Walker Red Label is the number one selling Scotch in the world. That is not even a question. Do most people drink it straight? No, they make cocktails. Ballantines, Hunter Pipers, Dewars, Cuddy Sark, Hague Club Pinch, the Pinch, they call it Pinch in the United States. They're all big. But the single malt is growing. It's growing. It's not going to take over. It's like craft beer. It's not going to take over, but it's taken over in a relative sense. So a lot of people that would only latch on to Budweiser or Bud Light or Miller High Life, Miller Genuine Draft these days, they will branch out into craft beer. Now they might only only branch out to, say, like Samuel Smith's Boston Lager or Fat Tire, stuff like that. Or Lagunitas IPA, but they're still branching out to an extent. And it's the same thing with Scotch. You have some people that will dabble in single malt Scotch whiskey. Of course, I'm always open to do that, and I've got some coming up. Canadian whiskey, there are single malt Canadian whiskeys, but I just don't have any. Would I be opposed to getting any? I would not be opposed to getting any. I just don't see them. All right, so I do have, you would either be in admiration or more likely you'd be ashamed if you saw all these Canadian blended whiskeys I've got. It's crazy, but I have a Canadian Gold coming up next. I don't know anything about it except that it's been on the market since 1960 and it's made by a company, it's procured by a company in Minnesota. Okay, anyway, on with the show. Dewar's, it's sold pretty much everywhere. If I go to any liquor store in Louisiana, I may not see handle bottles, but I'm going to at least see fifths or 375s, you know, the half size. They're going to be there. So it's around and it's pretty common. And as we say, ubiquitous. Ubiquitous means sold everywhere. It's like Jack Daniels. It's everywhere, okay? Now, here's one that you'll see it, but you won't see it everywhere. And you'll never say to yourself, oh, I gotta have it. No, you're not going to say that. I see it at Total Wine. They're in Metairie, Louisiana, right close to New Orleans. $14.99 a handle. $14.99 a handle. It's been on the market since 1957. 1957. Highland Mist, blended Scotch whiskey. It's sold here and there. I do see it. Well, I see it, but I don't know the pattern. You know what I mean? I haven't figured out the pattern. It's like I'll see it, and then I don't see it. Then I don't see it. Then I don't see it. Then I'll see it, and I don't see it. Then I see it. I don't see it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no regularity to it, but it's around. They say pale dry. I don't see it's that pale. And is it really that dry relative to other blended scotches? I don't see that, but it says a blend of Highland, Lowland, Islay, looks like Islay, Islay, and Speyside whiskey. So the 4 regions. Age for 36 months. I got to update my notes. I knew it was 3 years, but I couldn't find it on the bottle at first. Let's see. Age 3 years. Aged 3 years. Do it. Now here's the part I don't understand. Some of you whiskey people that watch, you know, I don't know. Originally selected for the home trade. Originally selected for the home trade. I don't know what that means. I assume it means they originally selected these various whiskeys for sale in Scotland only. And then at some point later on, they decided to release them for overseas sale. But to me, it sounded like some kind of marketing BS more than reality. But I mean, I could be wrong. It could be like literally they made these for Scotland only and then they branched out. So I'm not trying to judge. Now, there's some like cultural medals that make little sense to me, and I don't know what they're about. Probably just to make the label look nice. Imported and bottled for Barton Imports, Chicago, Illinois. So it is, yeah, you see it's bottled in Illinois by Barton Imports, who was bought out by Sazerac Company in 2009. I don't have much left, maybe enough for, I'm thinking, I was looking at that before I went walking. I said maybe 3 taste challenges. I think 3. Now, I can get this for $14.99 a handle. $14.99 a handle at Total Wine & More in Metairie, Louisiana. This same bottle will cost me $32.99, but I did see it on sale a couple of weeks ago for $30.99. But we'll go with the regular price, $33 a handle. Well, you say, well, that's a good price for Scotch, $33. Okay, fair enough. I think it's a good price. But I can go to Total Wine and get Highland Mist for $15. Well, 15 times 2 is 30. And we subtract 2 cents. That's $29.88. Wow, 98. Is the Dewar's going to really be twice as good? More than twice as good? I don't think so. What Dewar's has shown me, past participle, has shown, not has showed, has shown me is this. Dewar's, first of all, has shown me that it's fine. It's nice, it's pleasant, it's mild. If you only could drink that the rest of your life, it would be okay. Wouldn't be anything exciting, but you could come home from work, drink a mixed drink, a cocktail highball with Dewar's. It would be fine. But it wouldn't be anything to get excited about. Now, what has Highland Mist shown me? Well, Highland Mist hasn't shown me too much. I did get it on sale for $6.49 at International Market. I noticed the price has jumped back up to $7.99, which is probably more than normal price. Hasn't shown me too much. It's kind of a nice little label. Got the Scottish theme, the crown for the Kingdom of Scotland, and all of that. But it's just like an ordinary product for the last 64 years. They have had magazine advertisements for it. I looked up a Google search. I found 1 or 2 magazine ads from the last 50-something years. But it was never like heavily promoted. And the company that owned it, Barton, wasn't exactly rolling in money. You know, they weren't rolling in the dough, so they could put out ads here and there and hope for the best. And, well, I guess the best never happened. So it was sold off to Sazerac in 2009. But anyway, fine, you know, it's fine. So here's my prediction. They're going to taste very similar one to the other. It's going to be a pretty bland examination. And what's going to happen is Dewar's is not going to justify it's more than twice the price for a handle. Do I have any embedded loyalty toward Highland Mist over Dewar's? No, I do not. Now, you might say, well, the headquarters for Sazerac is in New Orleans. You're only 29 miles from the headquarters, or 30, might be 30. So you're going to naturally gravitate towards Sazerac. No, I'm not. William Goldring and his wife never called me on the phone. They never said, look, if you make great videos for our products, we're going to juice you in. You're going to get all kind of special stuff. We're going to co-opt you and corrupt you and buy you off. That's never happened. And, of course, if they did try to do that, I would tell them, no. You can give me all the free stuff you want. I'll take it, but I'm not going to favor one over the other. I do blind taste tests, so there's no way I could favor it. But there we go. It's pale. It's not that pale. I mean, Clan McGregor is more pale than this, and so is Cuddy Sark. Much more paler. All right, so Dewar's, just a regular looking product. Is it colored with caramel? probably, I cannot back that up. They don't give an age statement. I'm assuming it's more than 3 years old, but it may not be. I don't know. I am guessing 4 years. I think it's probably aged at least 4 or more years. But it's not aged like a long time. All right. That's pretty much identical. Gold versus gold. And I'm already kind of forgetting which is which. This is the Highland Mist. People probably watch these and say, you stage it. You're staging it. You have some kind of trick. There's something we're not catching on to, that you're staging it, and there's some trick where you can glance or something and you know which is which. Well, I mean, if I was staging it, why would I get it wrong so many times? It seemed like I would try to get it right most of the time. But then, the people are going to say, oh, no, you do some failures just to make it look legitimate. I can't commit. I mean, there's no way I can convince you that I'm not cheating. So the people that know me know I'm not cheating. The people that have some kind of axe to grind are going to claim I'm cheating. I have no reason to cheat. And there is no reason to cheat. There's no legitimate reason to cheat, okay? So don't be a cheater. Don't cheat. Don't lie. Don't steal. Don't cheat. Just do the taste challenge. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. But these two, I'm telling you right now, the chances are very low that I'm going to get it right, because they're so close. Which already, I haven't done the challenge yet, right? From the start, from the beginning, I think Dewar's will lose by virtue of its double the price. There's no way. I mean, I'm telling you right now, there's no way Dewar's is going to be twice as good. It's not going to happen. It might be marginally better. But there's no way I'm going to go out and pay $32 for a bottle of Dewar's. You say, well, you bought it. I mean, yeah, I bought it for taste challenge purposes. But there's no way, theoretically or hypothetically, I would buy Dewar's for $33 when I could get Highland Mist for $15. I'm not going to do it. You can go buy it and talk about how great it is. Now, Highland Mist, you say, well, it's in a plastic bottle. PET bottle, plastic. Okay, yeah, I know. But I think the plastics industry, the chemical industry is pretty well advanced. I don't think it impacts the flavor or the aroma or the chemical composition of the product. I don't think it's going to make you ill. So I haven't noticed any difference. Now, if I had, I would mention it. I just honestly have never noticed any difference between plastic bottled and glass bottled whiskey, rum, gin, etc. Beer. No, I haven't noticed any difference. I've had Magnum in plastic bottles, Mickey's, Old English 800, etc. I just have not noticed any difference. Once again, if I did, now they've been making these plastic PET bottles in Russia, Ukraine, Belarus for years. I cannot speak for their markets. So I don't know what their consumers' expectations are, but I just find it hard to believe that people in Ukraine and White Russia would be saying, oh man, this beer tastes like plastic. I just want to go buy some more. I just don't see that happening. I don't believe it. Joe Biden's dentures. Unlike our politicians, Ron can't be corrupted by gratis gifts. Well, I'm not saying I couldn't be corrupted. I don't think I would be corrupted. And we don't ever know the future. I could sit here and say, oh, I was reading the Bible this morning and the book of Numbers, by the way. Oh, the book of Joshua, sorry. And I could say, oh, I'll be loyal to the faith. I'll never turn away. I'll always be true. But I don't know that because we have free will and we don't know the future. We could say, well, we hope or whatever, but we don't know. We don't know. We might be able to even imagine a situation in the past where Judas Iscariot was saying to himself, I'll never turn on God. I'll never turn against the Lord. I'll never turn against Jesus Christ. I'll be loyal to the end. Nothing can stop me now. Like a starship. Nothing's going to stop us now. But of course, Judas had a ingrained problem, like the Bible says, but he was a thief. He liked to steal. That was his thing. That's what he did. He stole. He was a thief. And remember, he was angry that Mary Magdalene, or the woman, the Bible says, was using the alabaster ointment to sort of like prepare Jesus for his burial. But she didn't necessarily know what she was doing, but she was like putting the perfume on his hair and his body. But it was prepared for burial. But they were confused about what was coming. But remember, Judas was saying, I'm paraphrasing, of course. He was saying, why y'all wasting all this perfume? This could have been used for, it was spikenard. That's what it was, spikenard. Some kind of expensive ointment, perfume. You say, why y'all wasting all this perfume? We could have sold this and given it to the poor. That was his contention. But then the narrative in the Bible says he wasn't angry about the perfume being used for anointing Jesus Christ. He was angry because he was a thief. So in other words, he had plans already. He already had plans that he was going to take that and sell it on the black market and pocket the money. You know what I mean? And remember, in the Bible, he handled the money bags. He was the treasurer of the Christian church in its very early stages. But there was one little problem. He was a treasurer, but he was embezzling the money. Of course, Jesus knew this. But so we could be corrupted. We hope we won't be. I don't want to be corrupted. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to become an apostate. All right. Anyway, and that brings me into thinking about the movie The Omen. But that's another story. That's a kind of a metaphysical. It's a cheap. That movie is very what you call it, gauche, very melodramatic, very stilted. That's the word, stilted. The acting is stilted. It's fun to watch, but it's pretty bad, in a way. But they bring in some metaphysical concepts that make you think. Like you're thinking, well, wait a minute. So anyway, I guess we all hope we would keep our integrity in the face of temptation / adversity. Outcomes vary, I would think. Right. Heinrich. I was reading about Heinrich Himmler, who got caught up in National Socialist German National Socialist government bad behavior, let's call it. But back in his diary survived the war in 1945, and he wrote, in 1928. He was a devoted Catholic, Southern Germany, Catholic Germany, and he was writing in the diary, "Oh Lord, I'll never turn against you. I'll always be a faithful Catholic." Well, that's what he was saying in 1928, but he came under the influence of certain government leadership individuals, socialists, nationalists, revolutionary activists, and whatnot. And then later on, 10 years later, he's embracing occult theoretics and who knows what kind of socio-biological insanity, So, and not to mention, he was like Judas Iscariot turning against the person he claimed he followed. So, that's a perfect example. You would think he would be honest in his diary. Why would you tell a lie in your own diary? You're assuming no one's going to read it, right? I don't know. Metaphysical questions are better left to people like Gautama Buddha, not me. A person who asks metaphysical questions is like someone who's been shot through the heart with an arrow, and he's asking things like, "What kind of wood did you use? What is the grade of metal used in the arrowhead?" All right. This smells very standard. You say, "Not this again." You keep saying it the whole time you do Dewar's white label. You keep saying the same thing. It smells standard. It smells like cereal grain. It smells like a box of cereal. Well, yeah, because that's what we're dealing with. What do you think it's going to smell like? It's average. This is even more average. Even more average. Makes sense, right? No, but what I mean is like just neutral. If the theme song for these taste challenges would be adopted, it would be Another Day, like from Paul McCartney and Wings. Another day. It is just another day. It's the same taste challenge repeated 10 times. Now you might say, why should I watch that? Why would you recommend me watch that? No, that's the point. I would not recommend that you watch it. And I'm telling you not to watch it if you don't want to waste time looking at average thing. But I cannot help it. I did not produce the product. If I'm tasting Scotch whiskeys that are just humdrum, dull, bland, ordinary, and run of the mill, well, okay, that's what I'm dealing with. Burley Sullivan says, Burley, you got to join again. I put myself in a box. For next Wednesday, we've got Kona beers. Kona, any Kona beer, which in my case means Big Wave or Longboard Lager. I think I'll choose Longboard. It's kind of bland, but it's pretty good. And Big Wave, I don't know. There's something about Big Wave that doesn't set right with me. It's too, I don't know. It's too much like canned pineapple or something. I mean, which one would I rather have? I mean, I'd rather have neither because I went to Mathern's this morning and I saw the price and I was like, oh, why'd you choose these? You're not going to be able to get a single. You're going to have to pay over $10 for a 6-pack of Longboard. But I'm going to try to find a single because I'm not looking to lay down money for Kona. Now, do they make more exemplary Kona beers like porters, stouts, IPAs, blah, blah, blah? Yeah, and I can't get them. I did see them once, and they were so expensive, I did not buy them. Be cheaper than going to Hawaii, but that's really an irrelevant thing to bring up. All right. They're both golden. All right. Cheers. That tastes like everything you ever drank before. I feel funny about doing these taste challenges because it sounds like I'm slamming the product and talking bad against it. I'm not. I'm just saying it does not in any way stand out. It's just like honeyed, like a little honey or nectar, sweet sugar, corn, whiskey with a touch of bread dough. But if you're looking for smoke or peat, I mean, forget it. It's not going to happen. I probably will. Going to get a laptop soon, hopefully. Got to clean up a little too. My beard is shaggy. Haha. Well, I trimmed mine last Friday. Isn't it pretty? Are the Kona beers good? Says Hector Lopez. Well, yeah, they're pretty good. They're kind of like Full Sail or Widmer Brothers or Abita or Shiner or Boston Samuel Adams beers. In other words, they're just kind of like run-of-the-mill craft beers. You know what I'm saying? Like they're kind of overpriced and they're not really that much better than macro beers. Once again, I did not produce these products, but I did choose it for a Wednesday night hangout, didn't I? Did I not? Now, Eric had a good turnout for a Wild Card Wednesday last night, and I had half the beers they talked about. All three of which, I think it was three of them I did enjoy them in the past. We're going to do Stout Sunday. Sunday, John and Neely's going for Mother's Day, so I'm going to host. Alex and I were having this like conflict. And I told Alex, I said, you can host it every time John's not available. I don't care. Host it every time. If you want to host it, host it. I'm not jealous to host these hangouts, believe me. I said, but it would make sense. Just my thinking. I said, it would make sense to take turns. Like I hosted one time, you hosted next. I hosted once, you hosted the next time. And then when John and Neely is available, which seems to be less and less common these days, but whatever, that's the nature of beer hangouts. He can host it. Obviously, he conceived the concept. And so Alex was thinking, and he said, yeah, that's a good idea. Well, let's do that. You host this week, and then we'll flip-flop moving forward. And to me, that's fair. But if he insisted and said, I demand to host every week that John and LA is not there, I would say, well, go ahead and host. I don't care. If it's for mixing, here's Joe Biden's dentures talking. If it's for mixing, shop price, that includes the mixer of Mr. Pibb is cheaper than Dr. Pepper shop price. Right. Miss Pibb Extra. Or remember, they don't make Mr. Pibb anymore. It was replaced by, well, actually Pibb Extra came onto the market and then it eventually replaced Mr. Pibb. Which curiously, Louisiana State University only sells as their Dr. Pepperish cherry cola type concoction drink. And my entire experience with Louisiana State University, if you go to any football, basketball, or baseball game there, they only sell Mr. Pibb. Well, now Pibb Extra on draft. You know what I mean? The fountain drink. I don't recall them ever selling Dr. Pepper. Okay, is Mr. Pibb better than Dr. Pepper? In my opinion, it's better. Now, that will set off a firestorm, and a lot of people would be very angry about that. But that's my experience. I don't know what it is about Mr. Pibb that makes it better. To me, it seems better. And I can remember the old days. I mean, the really old days. When it first hit the market, like 1972, I was like 4 years old. And they had those flat top cans. You remember the old steel cans. They were flat top, flat bottom. They might have had a pull tab. They did have a pull tab. It wasn't like you had to open it with a pull tab. But it was only called Pibb. That's what it was called. Pibb. P-I-B-B. Pibb. No Mr. Pibb. Just Pibb. And it was in that pink can. And they had bottles, of course. But we would drink that. My mother would let us drink one after church, maybe once a month after church. So my sister and I were like, we couldn't wait to get home to drink Pibb. P-I-B-B. Pibb. We liked it. But then there was some, and of course we poured it in a glass. I think we poured it in a glass. Well, probably a plastic cup. But there was some kind of lawsuit. Dr. Pepper literally went to court and sued Coca-Cola, who made Mr. Pibb. I'm sorry, Pibb. They were claiming like, you cheated, you trying to steal our trademark and all this. And I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden Pibb disappeared and it was replaced immediately by Mr. Pibb. Then it was a different label, but it's strange, but I don't know how they settled the lawsuit, because then it seemed like it tried to mimic Dr. Pepper even more with that burgundy label, Dr. Pepper, Mr. Pibb. I don't know. But that was sort of like an ongoing thing throughout the 70s and 80s, where people would talk secretly, whisper to each other in the dark corners of America's cities. And they would say, well, and don't repeat this, you know, Mr. Pibb is better than Dr. Pepper. Oh, what? Don't say it. I'm not going to say it. You think I'm going to repeat that? You know, it was that kind of thing. I remember you saying you used to be a teacher. What do you do for work now? Oh, I just work part-time, but I did retire from teaching. Yes, I get a retirement check. If it's for but yeah, shop price if it's for mixing. Okay, that's it. Enough, you know, enough of a trip down memory lane. Yeah, I got to talk about something. These things are so ordinary. This one in my left hand tastes like sweet cereal. Not saying that as a put down. It just literally tastes like sweet cereal grain, sweet sugary cereal grain. No smoke, no peat. So if you're looking for a Scotch whiskey with a lot of smoke and peat, oh well, you know, forget that. Let's go over here. Man, I feel like Christopher Walken when he was in that railroad bridge tunnel in the dead zone, when he was smelling that soft pack cigarette. He said, nothing. He said, I thought for a minute that he picked up something, but he said, no, nothing. I'm not getting nothing. And that's what I'm getting here. It's like nothing versus nothing. So that's what we're getting. Sweet cereal grain. If you like sweet cereal grain, you got it. You say, well, that's what I want. I want something sweet. It's not abrasive. It's smooth. It's just regular old whiskey that I can blend with tomato juice or apple juice or cranberry juice, or somebody told me their grandmother drinks milk with whiskey. Well, maybe you could drink chocolate milk with whiskey. I don't know. I'm sure all that stuff would work. That's what these are made for. So why would you ever pay? Why? I'm asking you this question live on the internet. Why would you pay $33 for a handle of Dewar's? You know, why would you do that? When you could very easily go to Total Wine and some other stores and get a handle bottle of this for $14.99. You know, why would you do that? I know one thing, I wouldn't do it. Not only would I not pay $33 versus $15, no, I would not pay $16 versus $15. Do you hear what I'm saying? I would not pay $1 more for a handle bottle of Dewar's over Highland Mist. This is not an attack on Dewar's. I have no axe to grind against Dewar's. And in fact, I've liked every Bacardi product I've ever tried. I think Bacardi is dead on with their quality. Their quality assurance is dynamite. I like Dewar's. I do have more Dewar's. I got more Bacardi Limited stuff on that shelf. I cannot wait to get to it. It's going to be a winner, okay? No problem. There is no problem with Bacardi products at all. But you have to take this into account. Sazerac, not to mention Heaven Hill and Diageo and everybody else, they make a lot of what we call below premium products. They get no advertising attention. You'll never see a television commercial. You will never hear it on the radio, and you sure won't see it, and you're not going to see it in a magazine. You might see something on the internet, like Facebook sometimes shows Calvert Extra Canadian blended whiskey advertisements, which are not common, but you will see them. But the thing about these, they get no advertising attention, but they're all right. They're okay. And that's the sort of the whole theme that I've been doing since 2010, November 2010. And the theme is this, to sum it up. Craft beers are great. You can get fabulous craft beers. You can get fabulous craft whiskey, so-called craft whiskey, because usually they're macro owned and so on. But the point underneath that, the subtitle of the main idea is this. honestly, you don't really need to pay that much because there's a lot of products that are half the price that are probably just as good. And if they're not just as good, they're so close that why are you paying double the price? And that's just what that's what I've been talking about for 11 years. Some people get angry. They don't like it. They say I have some kind of extra. I was reading a comment yesterday saying you're in the pocket of Anheuser-Busch. I said, man, look, if I'm in the pocket of Anheuser-Busch, I would make 5 videos a day. Not 1 video a week, 5 a day. You know how much money I've gotten from Anheuser-Busch over the last 11 years? You guessed right, nothing. And you would think after all the videos I've made trumpeting their products, I would get something, right? Nothing. No attention, never got an email, never got a recognition, never got a like on Facebook. So just goes to show you, you might think you're important. Believe me, you're not really. Daniel Plainview. Okay, comments. This video is going long, but it's not much going on Thursday afternoon, Thursday morning. I remember you saying you used to be oh yeah, we talked about that. Daniel Plainview mixed whiskey with milk and made HW drink it because he thought it might cure his deafness. Okay, Burley. Maybe Ann Sullivan could have given a. Well, anyway. All right. Hello, Ron, says Maxwell. Hello to you in the Russian Federation. I got a 13 Stockyard oatmeal stouts. Oh, 13 mackerel. Oh, yeah, those are good. That's really good. Now, there's another example. That's a perfect example because that's a cheap private label product, Stockyard oatmeal stout, sold by Trader Joe's, made by some alias company. Everybody knows it's either Gordon Biersch or Firestone Walker. I can't remember. It's not listed on those companies' websites, even though they produce oatmeal stouts that are eerily similar. And it's really good. It's like Trader Joe's oatmeal stout Stockyard can basically go toe-to-toe with all the other ones that cost 3 times as much. Now, is there a flip side to this? Well, yeah, there's a flip side. And the flip side is that, yeah, these cheapos are just as good as the mainline priced products. But that whole mix of what I'm talking about is not that great. But to me, that validates my point. I'm trying to pick up the Pete. I cannot. You might say, well, Dewar's ain't that great. It's just average. What are you talking about? And I would say, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's $32 or $33 a bottle for the handle. It's not that great, which, let's be honest, is the case for most of these blended scotches that are $33 a handle. They're not that great. Although I do think that Johnny Walker Red Label is above and beyond all the rest. Now, okay, here we go. People say, oh, you're in the pocket of Diageo. They're juicing you in. Believe me, if Diageo was juicing me in, you'd see a Seagram 7 Crown video once a week. My point, which I think people are starting to, and some people have for 11 years realized it. My point is not that Dewar's and all these other grants and whatnot, mass-produced blended scotches are that great. I never said they were that great. They're certainly competent. They're well made. They you'd never go below a B. You'd never go below a B. 85. If you went below an 85, come on, you're just trying to I don't know. You got some kind of hidden agenda. But that's not saying much because there's a lot of good products on the market. The point I'm making is, and I think I said this, a lot of people agree with me, is that you can get products that are half the price, beer, wine, or liquor, beer, wine, or liquor. Listen to me. Beer, wine, or liquor that are half the price, but you lose little, if any, quality presentation, drink per drink, each 12 ounce per 12 ounce. Am I losing anything buying Highland Mist for half the price with these two? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There would be no question, no hesitation. It would not even be considered. If you ask me, okay, think fast. Highland Mist or Dewar's white label? Think fast. I would say Highland Mist every time. Highland Mist. And I would not be looking to get Highland Mist because it's bland, it's ordinary, it's humdrum, dull. But I can get it for $15 for a huge handle bottle. Why would I pay over twice the price for Dewar's? Short story long, I would never do that. I would never in my life do that. So that's a challenge to the viewers. And I don't see a lot of blind taste tests. I wish I did. I've got a back stock of videos I need to watch today. Beer, wine, and liquor reviews, mostly beer and liquor, and it's an incredible amount. I would like to see more blind taste tests because a lot of people go out there and they fronting talking about, oh, this beer is way better than that one. And I know. But I say to myself, well, where's the blind taste test? I'm not seeing it. Now, you might say you're just throwing it out there because you want to have some cheap entertainment. You want people to do blind taste tests so you got something to watch. Well, you got me there. I've already said I'm mostly a viewer who happens to make videos. I'm not really a video producer. I'm mostly a viewer who happens to make videos. All right, so there's no difference. It's the same thing twice. There are differences, but there are no appreciable differences, is what I try to say. The differences are so minimal, like why would you pay $1? We're not talking about $1 difference. We're talking about 35 cents. So sorry, Dewars, but your performance level has been poor. And I'm not going to brag on Highland Mist because I would never be looking to buy that. But if I did cocktails with Scotch whiskey and I bought blended Scotch for whatever purposes, this is the clear winner. It's not even close. Clearly the winner. Highland Mist is clearly the winner. Is it better than Dewar's? Well, no, not by any means. And I think if we were objective, you could probably argue that it's not quite as good. Hadn't done the reveal yet. But why would you ever in your life pay a penny more for Dewar's over Highland Mist? Explain to me why you would do that. I really want to know. I want to see the video because what I'm tasting, no. Nope. There's no justification. Now, you want to waste a lot of time on the internet? Get ready because I got Sunday coming up. Inverhouse. Is it going to be better than Dewar's? No. Sure will not be worse. I've got Sir Malcolm. Well, actually, I think Sir Malcolm's going to win. And that's so cheap. It's so cheap. It's cut rate. And they sell it like crazy. I was talking to the girls that run the liquor section at Mathernes. I said, y'all sell? I was just saying this in passing. They don't realize I got some kind of hidden agenda. I said, hey, Sir Malcolm, y'all sell that stuff? She says, do we sell it? She said, oh, yeah, that stuff moves. Well, I knew that already because I know it's coming in by the cases. So is it wildly popular? Nah, but they got people that buy it. It's moving every week. So it's your call. You want to watch Bland versus Bland the next week? Go ahead. It's going to be here. But I think what this really shows is that Dewar's is fine. It's fine. It's fine. I really, if you pinned me down and said, I want you to honestly and objectively sit down and tell me what's wrong with Dewar's White Label, I would say there's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. But Clan McGregor is fine too, and it's half the price. No, it's a third of the price. Well, no, half the price for a fifth. So that's the moral of the story. Like, why are you paying twice for the same, right? You say, well, I'm going to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. This one's $10. This one's $5. They taste exactly or basically the same. Why are you paying twice as much for a penny better? It makes no sense. All right, that's it. Oh, I haven't done the reveal. Makes sense, right? Because I can't figure out the reveal. Here we go. Cereal, grain, and bread dough. You say, oh, Lord, I'm so sick of hearing this. I know the video's going long, but these are the hardest type. These are the hardest type. When you're doing like high class bourbon or high class Scotch, the videos are easy. 15 minutes, you got it. You do these inexpensive ones that are one and one, 2 and 2, 3 and 3, 4 and 4. They're like a mirror of each other. It's incredibly difficult. It's almost impossible. I'm going to say, with not too much confidence, this is Highland Miss, but it is. Oh, wow. I got it right. Oh, I'm such an expert. Wrong. No. The only reason I picked Highland Miss is because it did have a little bit more, and I mean a little bit more, cereal grain and really no peat. The Dewar's has a scintilla of peat, and we're talking about a scintilla like a shadow of peat. It's like, yeah, right. I'm gonna pay $33 to get a shadow of peat when I could pay $15 and get just regular cereal grain. Yeah, right. All right. Beer Hounds Beer Review says, "Hi, Ronald. Hello to you, Beer Hounds." Well, that's it. Enough of this. What's coming up? We've got Inverhouse from 1961. Is it going to be much different than this video? Well, hopefully it'll be shorter, but it won't be. It won't be much different. It'll be the same old thing. It'll be me doing 2 Scotch whiskeys, trying to stall for time and figure out a way to differentiate the two, but then realizing later that I cannot because they're really not different. So once again, Inverhouse will easily win by virtue of its price point. And I never met anybody in my life that was looking to buy Inverhouse. Then we'll close it out with 2 more Sir Malcolm. Well, actually, I think Sir Malcolm's going to win because it is like a tiny bit better. There's some kind of little bread dough thing going with Sir Malcolm. So I think that Sir Malcolm, since 1967, might have a little bit more Speyside single malt in the blend. And I mean, we're talking about a very little bit more. But I think Inverhouse might, what am I saying? I think Sir Malcolm is going to win. I think Sir Malcolm's going to win just straight up, not even considering the price. Then we'll close out with Piper Dean. Well, I mean, Piper Dean is a cheap, run-of-the-mill, $6.49 bottle of blended Scotch from Albertsons, distilled under and blended and bottled under contract for super value stores, Albertsons, Jewel, Osco, and all of them. But I don't think Dewar's is going to win. I just don't believe it. Now, next week, maybe the week after next, at least, we're going to do some single malt. It's going to be the Glenrothes 15-year age. I'm a little bit worried about the Glenrothes 1995 because it is age 18 years, and I know the Whiskey Scout paid at least $50 for it. I know he did. He gave it to me for a gift. I don't know. I don't think he should have done that. I don't know a thing about it. It's a nice looking bottle, but I got a bad feeling about it. I think the Glenrothes is going to just fail. It's going to be a major failure, and that's going to set off a real big problem for me. It's not going to be good for the channel. The sub count's probably going to drop a pretty good amount. But I got to do it. I got to do it. I got to do it. I just think that people are going to say, oh, no, 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 no. There's no way you can come on the internet and say Glen Moray is as good as the Glenrothes or Tomatin, Dualcus, the Legacy. Well, I could be wrong. This is my prediction. We don't know. I haven't done the taste challenge yet. But my prediction is that the Glenrothes is not going to perform particularly well against Glenmoray, Tomatin, Dualcus, Legacy, or the what's that Family Reserve? The not Glenfiddich, the Glen. You know what I'm talking about? The blue label, the Glenlivet. I'm sorry, the Glenlivet Family Reserve. I don't think it's going to perform very well. I think it's going to be a bad. It's going to be a bad. Well, I'm just going to have to get ready. It's going to be a bad little I'm going to face the heat. You know, it's going to be a little bit. It's going to be a little rough. I know that. And then we're going to go into brandy. Brandy. Oh, this is going to be big. This is going to be big. If you see my view count low for the last 2 months, I can understand that because I'm dealing with some pretty low attraction products. But when I do Ciroc French brandy, oh man, it's going to be like a wildfire. It's going to set off a storm. The viewership's going to spike. I mean, I'm going to be getting comments left and right, high and low. Ciroc, I've been sitting on that for 2 years. Believe me, that's going to be a big deal. So you may as well get ready. Ciroc French brandy. Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. It's just going to be big. It's going to be really big. And then rum, Bacardi. Well, if you say the word Bacardi, that's it. You got people watching. I mean, that's all you got to say. Bacardi, and that's it. It's on. And then tequila, well, you know, so it's going to be pretty exciting. Hi, Ronald, says Beer Hounds. Kessler is the champ. I don't know if Kessler is the champ. It's certainly Kessler is certainly one of the top blended American whiskeys. There's no doubt. Kessler. Well, wait a minute, though. Where's your video review for Kessler? I see you do a lot of video reviews, and as you know, I watch them. And I make comments. But where's your Kessler review? Do you like Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select? Yes. I've never purchased it. Now, my friend David, who is a fanatic, he buys whiskeys like he's out of his mind. And I admire that and fear it. He brought over a couple of Jack Daniel's Barrel Selects, and they were amazing. I mean, they were great. They were great. But he paid a lot of money for that stuff. It was no joke. I mean, he put down some cash. And he is, he gets on my nerves and I get on his nerves and we get aggravated with each other and all of that. But I give credit where credit's due. He will buy some extremely expensive liquor, and that is not a joke. He will lay down the cash, and he won't hesitate. He can go to a liquor store and he'll see something. He'll say, I'm on that. And I'll be like amazed, like, wow, that's a lot of money. All right, thanks for watching this video production. I have a brand new bottle of it. Maybe I will do a review of it in Kessler. Yeah, I would recommend that. And if you do the Kessler, I'll watch the Jack Daniels. Well, if I've reviewed that one myself, I will watch. I don't watch videos for stuff I haven't necessarily reviewed, though. The Kessler, you got at least one viewer. You know that. Thanks, everybody.